right, people. I have been MIA. I understand. I've lost a couple, probably 3 or 4 subscribers because I've ghosted y'all for a little bit. And I get it, and I probably tease some people off because I'm a straight shooter. I call it like I see it, and people getting their feelings about it, but it is what it is. I just still enjoy talking about the Gators. I've been real busy, newborn, between juggling football, it's hunting season, and kids and sports and all that work. It's just hard to keep up like some of these other guys do with these podcasts. But to my 500 something subscribers, I'll keep rolling for y'all. Keep getting some videos here and there. Y'all can have a little something to watch whenever you're not watching the bigger pods. I know Shane Matthews is blowing up with his podding up. I actually just subscribed to his channel. Excellent, excellent. Really enjoy him, and I'm gonna pull some material from him today. But you know, I did throw a prediction out there, totally spot on with the Georgia game. Thought it would be a little bit closer. That was just a putrid fail on Billy and the staff. I mean, but look, is Georgia the number one team in the country, or to me, they're the number one team? Should be. No shame in losing to Georgia right now with this talent, with this team. Defense is a sieve. It is what it is at this point. We're Charmin toilet paper. I mean, we can't stop a sneeze. It's bad. It's not our Austin Armstrong. I love our DC. I'm still 100% sold on the defense coordinator. Guys are in position to make the plays. We are making arm tackles. We're hitting the wrong gaps. We're just not playing disciplined football. We're undersized, untalented. The transfers, again, Billy just absolutely sucks in the portal. Every one of our transfers, for the most part, have been a complete bust. Cam Jackson's been a disappointment to me, just not what he was hyped up to be. We just look weak. I mean, I don't want to blame strength and conditioning, but, man, we get blown off the ball. It's not really the front seven. I actually do like the defensive line as a whole. We're not a big get in the backfield, but we're getting pressure. We're holding the point of attack a lot of times. The number one weakness on this team on defense is the linebackers. They are the worst group and the weakest group. Shamar James is great. He's a good player. There are times where he's still a little bit undersized as well. If we had a guy that had the talent of Shamar, but the build of Taraja Mitchell, we would be fine. Shamar with a guy like Taraja that had a higher talent level, this linebacker core would be elite. We got some young guys. Jaden Robinson I'm really high on in the future. Scooby is just not a linebacker, period. I don't even know why they keep floating him out there. He's an edge rusher, outside backer, getting after the quarterback, maybe drop into coverage, but he cannot play in the tackle box, man. He just cannot do it. He gets manhandled on every play. He gets shoved and tossed out of the play. Like I said, guys are in position to make plays. Our DBs, they're glued sometimes to these receivers. They cannot make a play on the ball. They literally, it's like their hands are tied. It's like they're running with their hands in their pockets. It's like, dude, throw your arm up. Break. It's called a PBU. Try it. DBs, I don't get it. I don't understand. Marshall's been okay. Definitely a disappointment compared to what he was supposed to be for the year. Jalen Kimber, bench him now. I think we got our wish. Moore played 65 snaps to his 18 last game. I do think it's the Devin Moore show going forward. I think he's been hurt. He even admitted as much. So I'm not going to put that on Billy or the staff. He is starting this game against LSU. I do think the defense, they're a little healthier this week. I look for them to have a better week than they did last week. They are going to look bad at times. They're going to give up those explosive plays like they have all year. If Jaden Daniels plays, they're going to get shredded. If Nussmeier plays, I actually look for this defense to have a nice day and do some good things. I think they're going to surprise some people. The offense on the road, us on the road in general, barely beat South Carolina. You've seen South Carolina. They're even worse than what we thought when we played them. Florida losing to a 2-win Arkansas team. They are talented. They are better than 2 wins. Lost all their games by 1 possession. Hung with Alabama there for a while. Still inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. Under home turf, at home, wearing the black uniforms. There was a lot between the second and third quarter. Florida could have ran away with that game. People want to talk about Shane Matthews. Want to talk about the offense wasn't the problem. Okay, the offense did enough. That kick should have went through, but because of Billy and the staff's total chaos and mismanagement of special teams is such a joke at this point. If they don't hire a special teams coordinator next season, Billy's cooked. They've got to get an OC. They got to get a special teams coordinator, hold this class together, and the future's bright. I'm totally bought in. The schedule looks bad next year, but it's not near as bad as everybody thinks. A lot of turnover on rosters, the quarterback spot, a lot of veteran teams going to be a lot younger. We're going to be a veteran team. We're getting a talent infusion. The key to the offseason is going to be the portal. Got to get another playmaker outside. Got to button up that offensive line. Got to find another guy, around the defensive line. I think another veteran presence right there. Maybe linebacker. Again, another spot. But there's so much young talent that I think that they'll be able to come in and play early. A lot of early enrollees in this class. Next year's the year. Florida's got to win 9+ games next year or Billy is done. I don't care what kind of class he has after the year after that. If he wins 6 games next year, he's out of here. Regardless of what anybody wants to say. 7 wins probably doesn't get him a 4th year, in my opinion. Even with the talent, even with recruiting still number 3 next year, I don't think 7 wins is good enough in year 3. That's not really even progress right now where we're at. Do I think this team is better than last year's team? Actually, I do. I do think this is a better football team than last year. I think offensively we're better than last year. The problem is the mismanagement of our playmakers. Trey Wilson, where was he at in the second, third quarter? That guy was lighting up first and fourth quarter, and then you take him out. We go cold. It was like Billy was just happy to have the game tied and wanted to play, time of possession and clock management. That's just cowardly. Like, have a killer instinct. Put your foot on the throat. Go for the kid. Like, dude, we could have won that game. I felt Florida's momentum. Florida took control of that game. They could have literally won that game by 2 touchdowns. Maybe more. I'm just saying, guys. Y'all seen it. I seen it. The eye test was there. It was met. Florida had the weapons, and they took them off the field. It wasn't even so much play calling. You took Trey Wilson out of the game. You took ETN out of the game and go to your slow, lumbering running back. Don't get me wrong. Montreal's a good back. He's good in pass pro. That has to be why he's the starter or gets more reps and snaps. The other part of that, I think, is he's just Billy's guy. He's from Louisiana. It's his guy. I think there's some bias there. I really do. I don't think it's avoidable with any coach you have. I think there's always going to be at least a position or two where the wrong guy's playing. And in this case, ETN is not getting the snaps that he should be getting at this point, and everybody knows it. You take him out of the game, and look what it did. Best playmakers on the bench, totally took the air out of the sails, and Florida goes flat for 2 quarters. That kick, if they hadn't got that penalty, that kick goes through the uprights. It looked good to me from where it was at almost. I was still questioning, like, dang, that looked like it went through. That kick, 5 yards up, goes through those uprights, and we win that ball game, and we're not having this discussion. Billy losing to a 2-6 team is almost as bad as losing to Vanderbilt last year. I don't care. They fired their offensive coordinator the week before. He's on the hot seat. In Gainesville, in the Swamp, we were 10-0 against Arkansas in the Swamp, guys. I think 10-3 overall or something like that. It was just inexcusable. Now, they got Rocket Sanders back. They definitely, KJ was a super talented quarterback. He was really good last year. They played to his strengths. Florida was in position. In the beginning of that game, Florida made some nice stops on KJ. Those same plays were there to be made the entire game. Florida just couldn't make them. Armstrong is dialing it up on defense. I'm totally sold on him. Billy, on the other hand, just makes some massive, boneheaded decisions on offense. Special teams has literally cost us 2 games this year. Literally 2 games. This team should have 7 wins right now. People keep talking about the defense. At this point, it's a talent issue on defense. It's a talent issue. It's a mismatch. Us recruiting all these hybrid guys to play, out of position, a bunch of tweeners. The defensive line, like I said, is solid and only going to get better. The defensive line has not been bad. Princely, I'm eating my crow on him. Princely's been a lot better after watching some film and listening to some other guys. Princely's been a whole lot better than I've given him credit for. He holds the point of attack. He gets in the backfield. He gets pressure. The sacks aren't quite there, but, man, the guy is a good player. He's been excellent for Florida all year. What's hurting him is having Justice Boone injured. If Justice Boone was healthy this year, Florida would have double digit sacks at least right now, and they would be absolutely crushing it. So I think next year we get healthy. We do got to look at our nutrition. We've got to look. We look tired at the end of games, or at spurts in the games. We look gassed, and I don't get that because we rotate way more than I think we should. There's a lot of positions I think we rotate way too much at. Manny Nunnery in this LSU game, I have a feeling is going to have himself a game. I don't know why he hasn't played more. I know he's a little on the smaller side, but again, so is Scooby. I think Manny Nunnery's better than Scooby Williams. He's got the starting job this Saturday. He earned that, and I think he's going to run away. I think he's going to have himself a game, and a lot of people are going to be surprised. He flashed big time to me in that Arkansas game. Defensive back being Devin Moore. Like I said, there was some position. These young guys are not young guys anymore. The youth thing is not an excuse. Anybody throwing the youth thing out there, that's old. Freshmen play all the time at Alabama and Georgia, and they play at a high level from the start. They're going to make freshman mistakes, but that's just not an excuse. You know, we've got 3 games left. We're over halfway through the season. They're not freshmen anymore. They're experienced players. They've been on the field. They've seen everything. I do think they're going to have a better game this weekend. LSU is going to put up 40 points on Florida, but the defense I do think will flash a little bit and look a little bit better, getting some guys back healthy. So just look for that. If like I said, if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, I'm tempted. Being that it's in Death Valley, I just can't pick Florida in this game. Florida will lose this game. I like LSU to cover the 14. But LSU's defense is really, really bad. They're worse than Vanderbilt. Or they're as bad as Vanderbilt's defense. They have way more talent, but they're soft. Florida will put up points in this game. We will score. I think Florida will rush for over 200 yards in this game. ETN will have himself a day. I think Eugene Wilson will have multiple touchdowns in this game. ETN will have 2 touchdowns. I think Florida puts up 30 to 38 points in this game, but LSU just gets to that, upper 40s, 50 mark, maybe even half 100 on Florida at this point. When I say Florida has a better day defensively, I do think we'll have our moments, but in the end, if JT Daniels plays, he's just going to be too much. Nussmeier plays in this game. I think Florida, it comes down to a one-possession game, and Florida has a shot to win it just like at South Carolina. I absolutely believe that. If you can beat LSU on the road, all will be forgiven from the Arkansas game. You get to 6-4. That's still, above expectations for what Vegas had us at. I would be happy with that. I think Florida fans would be happy with a win over LSU even more than Arkansas. They're more of a rival now at this point. They're a good team. They're 6-3. They're ranked. So I actually do think that would set Florida up really well going to these last 2 games. The game that I think Florida has a better shot at beating LSU than I do Missouri. Missouri to me is a better team than LSU, top to bottom, offense and defense. One possession game. They really hung with Georgia. I think Florida will hang around in that game, but they'll lose. It's on the road. So Florida would probably be, I don't see Florida being able to do enough in that game. Drinkwitz's done a hell of a job there. He's goofy as all get out, but man, he's a heck of a dang coach. So that's how I look at it. But here's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping Florida can grab this game over LSU and really change the narrative and the momentum for Billy's sake. Because I like Billy. I don't like his press conference. I don't know if y'all are watching those, but go back and look. He is getting us against the world. It's Mullen all over again. Why are you asking me these questions? Acting like they've won a bunch of big games or something, or he's done something that, people shouldn't be asking these questions. It's like he's oblivious to the special teams issues. No accountability. Doesn't care about the fans. He straight up said it. If y'all go back and listen, he literally straight up said he's not worried about the fans or doesn't care about, preaching patience or giving him time or anything like that. His job is only to worry about the football players. No, sir. You wouldn't have a team or a job or anything without the fans. We pay for it all. The boosters pay for it all. And it can easily be taken away from you. So I hope he changes his attitude. I hope Sass and Strickland get in his ear, sit down, tell him, look, you can't approach the fan base like that. You got to have more passion and fire after a loss. It just ticks me off to no end that the fans care more than Billy does. It just, they do, period. We've loved this team before he was ever a coach here. He didn't grow up a fan of Florida. He's getting $7 million a year. He needs to show a little more fire and a little more passion. It would obviously do a lot more for the fan base to tolerate losses like we're taking right now. But here's what I'm hoping for, and I think y'all might be hoping for. Obviously, I would love to win 3 straight. That'd be epic. But if Florida can beat LSU on the road, get to 6-4, lose to Missouri because I don't think we're going to get that one, 6-5, beat FSU, end their playoff run, ruin their season, get to 7 wins, 7-5, I would still be super stoked and pumped with that season. I would be happy with that. If we can somehow manage 7-5, period, I still would be super happy and stoked with the season. So would everybody else. But let's be real. We're playing 3 ranked teams, 2 out of 3 on the road. We're likely to be lucky if we get 1 win out of these 3. But I'm going to be pulling for them. That was just such a defeating, daggering, in the heart loss to Arkansas. We felt in control of that game to me. It felt like we responded every time we needed to. And that field goal was so makeable. Even being pushed back, they threw him off his rhythm. That's all on Billy. I'm not putting down Trace Mack. He's been nails all year. He gets taken out of his rhythm with a penalty, backed up, the timeout. It's just nothing but chaos. And kickers are all about timing and rhythm. They're all about that, habit. It's a habit. It's a routine they go through. So that's on Billy. That game should have been won by Florida. Florida was the better team. So unfortunately, we revived Sam Pittman's job. I was hoping he'd get fired and come be the offensive line coach at Florida. But anyway, that's my update on Florida, where we're at, what I'm hoping for. Expectation is a little different, but I'm hoping for the opposite. And would love to see Florida finish 7-5, keep this class together. I do believe if Florida can just win 1 more game, be competitive in the other 2, Florida will hold onto a top 5 class for early signing day, and Florida will be all right as long as they make the offseason changes everybody knows they need to make. I appreciate y'all's time. Hope you enjoyed the channel. Go Gators, and everybody have a good weekend.